Hey, yeah, it took me this long to calm down. I think it is every 6 weeks. When was the last time I did the "I'm a fucktard" video? It's every 6 weeks. It's every 6 weeks, and it always seems to be on a Thursday where I go fucking ballistic, and it turns out that it's the same exact day. Weird stocks that I shouldn't be trading, ignoring the cues, not trading what I should be doing, taking size up when I shouldn't be taking size up, trying to fight my way out of a day that had nothing to offer. I finally leave, and every stock that I was in goes up. And what was worst is you'd think one of these days I would have, after 30 years, because you think I'd be able to leave the office with a couple of positions on and just keep the stops on, right? You know why I don't do that? Because every time I get stopped out, and it's usually at the worst possible prices. So I'd rather not put them on and leave. So today I made that decision, the weed stocks, right? And again, I love this shit. When a catalyst comes and something gets squeezed, I'm all about it, right? But I have been so beaten to a fucking pulp all day on everything just like that. Your sobers, your pulse, kit, finger, Peggy, and I was up on all of them, which is crazy. It's just you get that it's the one more one. It's the all right, let me do one more trade, and then you lose, and then you just want to get that one more trade where you want to make that money back, and then you lose again, and that begins the death spiral. But the sick thing is, what made today possibly, gotta say, top 20, maybe top 25 worst days ever, was that I could have fought it back. But one of my rules is don't trade if I have to leave. So when the weed stocks started popping off, I was basically halfway out the door anyway. I saw it. I was like, all right. So I went to go buy MJ just so I can get a part of all the weed stocks. And they halted it. They halted the index, but they didn't halt the stocks in the index. So I wanted to buy MJ just to make sure I was in something weed related. So then I'm sitting there, GRWG, right? That was one of the ones I did really well on, from $5 to 30 back in the day. Cron and Tilray, right? Tilray was already up 30 cents, 10%. So I figured, screw that one. But Grow Dog, GRWG, was only up like 18 cents. $3 stock, whatever. So I sat and I bought a couple of thousand shares. Starts to move. I put the stop on, kind of tight. And I'm like, all right, and as I'm just, getting ready to leave, I get stopped out. I was like, and then it starts to go back up. And I was like, oh, I could put the trade back on. I put the stop on. I was like, nah, fuck it. Everything went up $1. I had GRWG at 376, 2,000 shares. It goes to 480. Tilray, $3.35. I sold it at 338 because I was halfway out the door. And obviously MJ I couldn't get because it was halted. And as if the market knew, it was like 10 minutes after I would sell a stock, and I'm talking about earlier today. This was what made it worse. The exits weren't bad. They were just bad trades. They didn't work. And it's okay. I don't mind losing money on trades. But do they always have to come back? Every single one of them, even the one that didn't come all the way back, it came back to the point where I would have broke even after dollar cost averaging on this bullshit stock Pulse. And the funny thing is about this Pulse trade, if you look at the chart, this is what normally happens. You get a pump and then you get a dump all in the same day. But lately, the pump and dumps have been getting pumped, pull back, pump, 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 crash, then even come back. No, not the Pulse, not the Pulse. Yeah, that's the one I decide to try to play a little bottom fishing on. Not this one. This one just bled to death all day. You had the one pop in the morning, got paid on the way up. It breaks VWAP. I sold it. And then I was like, oh, good thing we sold it. All right, it's stabilizing down here. I might as well start buying here at 270, up 260. Oh, better hold 250. Oh, if it breaks 250, I got to sell the whole thing. And there it went. I mean, I don't remember. And it's been that long. I can't remember where I was in the one that I didn't have to work the trade. Like when I pressed the button, and I made a joke about it when I was talking to when I did that video. You'd think I would get the one where I get in and it immediately starts going up. I don't get those. I'm always working, never not working, never not working. It's like I have to put effort in every trade I do. You'd think I'd get the one where it just explodes as soon as I buy it, and then I could put a stop on, and maybe I don't get stopped out on the pullback. Nope, I always get stopped out on the pullback. When do I get the parabolic fucker that goes from $8 to 90? When do I get that one? And I'm still in it. I don't mind, 1,000 shares at $9. I'll sell some at 12 and 15. But let me be in the last 400 shares and have it go up 50 points. I'm never in that one. I'm in the one that goes all the way back down to where it came from and then rolls over and goes red. Those are the ones I get into. I mean, luckily I wasn't in the, KITT. I mean, that one at least, I guess, that one went down. Yeah, that went down considerably after I got out of it. Yay. But it's sick. It's sick. If the weed stocks just would have started moving a little bit sooner, then it would have been different. It's just like every 6 weeks I have one of these days, and it happens to be on Thursdays. I think I'm just going to quit trading on Thursdays. But you'd think after all this time I could leave the house with a position on and not have to worry about it going to zero. It's just I don't have any luck. I get the ones that go to zero every time. Yeah, plenty of days I don't do anything. But it's always these stocks. I didn't lose on any real stocks today. I lost on Sober, Pulse, Kit, Finger, Peggy. But all those stocks. Made money on the Qs. Anyway, earnings season's starting. So if you're ever going to come to the website, now's the time. Only trading earnings reversals. That's it. We got 3 months. Starts on Friday. So get right with the stock lords. It all starts next Friday morning. But do you know what happened with the weed stocks? So Biden said he's going to forgive possession, and your record's going to be expunged, or I don't think anybody's in jail for just possession. Or I don't know. It's not even that significant of news, but people are just looking to put money to use. I guess they're just looking for something to do. Everything stinks. I didn't think it was going to be a real short. I didn't think they'd squeeze them because they're so awful, those stocks. Mannarino. At least I'm not him. By the way, I again, with that guy, he was just an easy target. because I'm a bear. I'm a real bear. So I agree with a lot of his stuff, but I don't think the downfall of fiat currency and obviously the silver premise didn't really work out yet. I mean, again, if you bought silver at 14 or 15, you're feeling all right. I mean, it was at 11 at one point. But for a guy that was saying the downfall of society was here imminently, that's what pisses me off. You want to say 20 years from now, like every other analyst says, we're liking this stock. It might do something down the road. We're just going to be very vague and generalize our comments so we could be right even if we're wrong. But when you use the word imminent, and you're wrong. You're wrong. If it's not imminent, you're wrong. He was wrong for 7 years. And then I heard he was getting bullish, and then the market crashed. It's just, it's funny. But he likes cool cars. Nothing not to like about Greg. Except I think he's a pretend bear. Stay bearish if you're a perma bull bear. Why would you want to own stocks? I'm a real bear. Owning stocks? I'm never going to own a stock with real money ever again. Yeah, maybe. I can't say never. Dow Jones. We go back to Dow 13,000. I'm in. Qs are at 165. And 8 months from now, I'm a buyer. You give me some PayPal at $38. I'm in. AMD at 17. I'm in. Give me some FedEx at $80. I'm buying. Ford at $4. Loading up. BTU $6. Buy all you can. And if we see any of those prices, we're in bad shape. Speaking of bad shape, you guys watch the Netflix special yet? It's good. But the best part of the Netflix special is you get to see the face of the douchebags that lost all their money. And it makes you laugh. It makes you smile. They don't even know what they're talking about. They don't even know what they're fighting. Like they think they're fighting some behemoth, like hedge fund trader that's short everything. It doesn't work like that. Most hedge funds are managing pension plans. They're not your enemy. They're just trying to beat the S&P 500 by 1% so they can get paid. They suck, but they're not your enemy. They're not doing it. This conspiracy theory about how market makers and hedge funds are holding stocks down. You got it all wrong. The manipulation is on the way up. It's so much easier for stocks to go down. Everybody knows how to sell. To buy something, you got to convince people to round up money and to get people to buy it and have a story. And there's so much more. Sell is easy. But buying there's where the manipulation comes in. You got to concoct the story. You got to convince people. You got to tell people to move money. You got to you got to perpetuate the bullshit. Buying is manipulation. The market Roku going from 50 to 500, that's manipulation. Teladoc going from 30 to 300, that's manipulation. Reality is when stocks go from 300 back to 30. That's not manipulation. That's not the market makers shaking you out or holding the stock back or naked shorting. That's just reality of your dog shit stock going back to zero because it has no value. If you want to think about the stock market as something where you're buying value or you're buying into a company and you're getting a share of that company, it's called Eat the Rich. It's a 3-part series. It's good. It's very quick too. And they do a good job. Andrew Left's in it. He doesn't come off too bad, even though he's a criminal. He was a shorter. I'm a fan. But he used his reputation and it got to his head. Andrew Left is a guy that he would short a stock, and he had a good premise, but then he would release this news story about how he knows it's a fraud, like the company's a fraud. And for some reason, the word is a very dangerous word in this industry. You cannot use the word fraud without some real proof. But he was able to do it. And if you start to notice what his track record was amazing. He shorted a couple of good, some stocks, and he made $1 billion on it, right? And then everybody thought he knew what he was doing. So that went to his head. So now he's like, I could short a stock and then wait a week or two and start putting out the lies on the internet about how the company is a fraud, and then make my big announcement on how I'm shorting the stock. He's already short. So then the stock would get slammed. And if you noticed, the next day, the dip was bought and the stock would actually start trending up, because that was him covering the short on your dime. Sure, it's a fraud, and maybe it does turn out to be a stock that goes to zero, but he's already short. And to think that people don't realize that, do you think, here, if I've got, this is just human nature. If I know I'm going to move a stock, it's just talking your book, it's called. When analysts come on, they're recommending the stock already to other people, and they own it, their clients own it, and then they come on TV and they talk about how much they love it. It's, in a way, that's the pump. So Andrew left did it the other way. He'd short something and then scream fraud, the stock would tank. He's already short. So now he's covering on that drop that he creates by releasing the news finally that he believes that this company's a fraud. And then they go back up because he's covering. And then the stock starts to rally organically. And if you look at the last 10 or 15 that he did over the last, 20 years, they all went up, every single one of them. None of them were frauds. To the point where the guy stopped talking about shorting stocks. Now he's just going to be an analyst. And he starts talking about buying stocks. So if there's not a bigger red flag, it's a guy that changes his business model. He's so successful at something, and then he just says, nah, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to be a buyer now. I'm going to recommend stocks that I like. And what do you think happened? They all went down. I was in a stock, and then he recommended it. I was like, oh, I guess I got to sell it. Stock wound up going to zero. He started liking, I forgot what it was, Topps. When the baseball card company was going to go public again. And there was some other stock that he got in on. I think Clovis or Clove. He liked that one. I was like, oh, that stock's done. I think he liked Space. I was like, well, that's done. But yeah, it's just a shame I have to lose money ever. And again, I shouldn't be losing money on any of this stuff. I should be retired 40 times over. Looking back at some of the stocks that I had. Between Peloton and Zoom and Roku and Teladoc, I started selling premium first. And that was my mistake. I looked at Zoom. I remember I sold a 650 call when the stock was at 500 for $25, 3 months out. 3 months out. I think it was about 100 points away. The volatility was so great. The option prices were so inflated. But if I just would have bought, 50 points out of the money, 10 puts, it'd be like 300 grand. I made 500, I made 50 grand. I made 5,000, 10,000 short in Zoom. I just would have, put some, again, it's 18 months later. I know, I get it. But some of these stocks, Roku's never coming back. Roku's going out of business. Zoom's never coming back. I wouldn't be surprised to see Roku out of business. Peloton's definitely going out of business. I mean, that's what's going to happen. I hope this bear market wipes people out, like to zero. Because some of these stocks shouldn't be around. Space shouldn't be around. It's over. I don't care what their technology is. And the whole idea is like, oh, it's more than a space tourism company. No, it's not. It's not more than a space tourism company. Oh, they're going to revolutionize intercontinental travel, and it's going to be like the Concorde. The Concorde failed. AMC is not coming back. Bitcoin could be dead for the next couple of years. Your tracking stocks are dead. You're going to buy a Chinese electric car manufacturer? Why? None of them are ever going to make money. There's so much bullshit. So going back to the whole thing about the market, if you're really buying stocks because of what they're worth, I would say, I don't know if this is a real number, but however many stocks there are, right? Yeah, I don't know if it's half, but because there's so many worthless stocks. Like I'm talking penny stocks, blue bulletin board. We're not getting into the the IBMs and the Microsofts, but I would go out and say 50% of companies don't make money. Do you know how stocks are valued? There's a big EPS, earnings per share. How much they make divided by the shares equals the share price. Earnings per share. So why does a stock have any value if there's no E? Welcome to the market. It's all speculation, fear, greed, and bullshit. Most stocks don't deserve to be worth anything. Most stocks should just sit around and do nothing. But it's a casino. And that's all it is. It's completely detached from reality. It's completely detached from the premise of what they're supposed to represent. And that's why I treat it this way. It's a casino. And I've got a pretty good rigging of the casino. I count cards pretty well. And every once in a while, the casino figures me out and they rig it to the point where it's to something. It's like every 6 weeks. I'm telling you, it's every 6 weeks. The casino owners say, you know what? Nobody's making money today. Let's program it to be illegal to make money. And again, it was just because, look, if I would have stuck with the 2 ones from I did this morning, SNTI was fucking awesome. I mean, that one, I can't complain, except the fact that it went up 2 points after I got out. And I think that's what got me on tilt. Ugh, I can't believe it. What are you doing? It scared me. So my point is I'm going to be on the air now pretty much every day from 8 in the morning till 8 at night for the next 3 weeks. So come find me. I'm going to have a colostomy bag, a bag of heroin, a joint, and lots of coffee and water. I'm just going to sit down and not leave. I'm kind of not even exaggerating because I gotta get some earnings reversals, and I'm only trading options now. So either I'm making $250,000 these next 3 months, or I'm making nothing. So I'm not going to take any ridiculous risks. I'm just saying, I'm just trading options now. Because when I trade options, at least I'm in. When you're a buyer of options, as much as it's riskier than trading stocks, at least you know exactly what's at risk. I got $1,100 worth of Goldman Sachs puts. Let's go. Most I can lose at $1,100. Then I don't care. Then I know exactly what I have at risk. Trading these dog shit stocks, 3,000 shares of fucking Finger. I'm sitting there like freaking out. The bids leave for 30 cents. I'm down $900 in 2 ticks. I'm like, what am I doing here? Is this thing going to drop more? And then it goes down 30 cents. And next thing you know, I'm down $1,800 in 30 seconds. I'm like, what the? $7 stocks, $6 stocks don't tend to move like that, even though I know that these are not typical stocks. It's just, but what's crazy is that I never get the quick 40-cent move in my favor. It's always against me. It's always against me. And then I got to start working the order and piecing in and dollar cost averaging and working so hard to scrape that trade together. I just never get the goddamn one. Buy 3,000 shares, and immediately goes up 8 points. When do I get the $24,000 trade in 20 minutes? I'm due. I'm due. And it just doesn't come. It's crazy. I have days like this all the time where I go over. Well, I really didn't go over. I went 1 for. But so I went basically what I did. I had one on all of these names: Sober, not Pulse, but Kit, Finger, Peggy. And then I went back to them and I gave back 4-fold of what I was doing, man. We reached out to Portnoy. Trade Zero is friends with him. I gotta make a concerted effort to get him on the show. You know what? The guy, I don't want to be friends with that guy because he's an asshole. And he's like me in a way, but he's such a douchebag. I mean, the guy's a fucking douchebag. And it could be just how I perceive him from TV and from what you see. But even when he wasn't a day trader, even when he was doing the pizza thing, the guy's he's unentertaining. He's a fucking idiot. He's a fucking douchebag. I mean, that's the best word for it. He's a douche. It's like, I don't want anything to do with the guy. And I just wish he would have failed to the point where he was bankrupt, because that would have been an awesome story, right? He's a billionaire, right? Would have been fucking awesome to watch him go through $1 billion as a failed day trader, ruined his entire life. Now that would have been content. But I think tomorrow the whole market hinges on it if AMD comes back. AMD pre-announced bad numbers. If this stock somehow stays strong tomorrow, and imagine it ends up green, then we are at a bottom for the market. And I think, and again, I'm serious. AMD, that stock fights off today. If AMD closes above 68.50 tomorrow, then we're in a bull market again, at least for the temporary bull market or bull move. Yeah. But I don't want to scare anybody, but I still own IC. If you still own it, I bought more today. Inevitably, I'm going to kill the stock. I'm going to fucking get annihilated on this trade, right? I own the stock now. I'm doomed, right? I bought more is what I'm saying. I bought more today at 21. Oh, I'm done. This thing's going back to 18 any day. And then it'll be at 15 next week. And I'll be like, what the hell am I doing? And then I'm going to buy more at 15. And this time it probably won't hold. And you'll see this stock at $3. And I will say and I'll have this conversation. I'm never owning stocks ever again. But I got to tell you, the stock keeps paying me. So I have to keep some of it on. So I still got that one. I got the Ford, got the Rivian, still doing all right. I can't believe I'm in that stock. But I'm selling puts on AMD tomorrow for sure. What song is it? Not done any day, don't worry about me, no. It's good estimated. My time coming any day, don't worry about me, no. Yeah, if you guys are free, why don't you come to the schmooze? The password is Thursdays suck. So if you go to hit the bid right now, I'm going live. So if you want to come join me, hitthebid.com, bitches. The password is Thursdays suck. 2 S's. Capital T, capital S. Thursdays suck. Password. All right. I'll see you in there.